That really doesn't mean anything, Austin, because gravity is also a theory, and we
Mm-hmm.
know that's been debunked.
This American Monster. A Monster of the Week actual play from This American Dice. Last time on This American Monster, our heroes have learned that Alan Graves is likely the descendant of some form of witch coven, and that he was even born after his own mother's death. Born into this world lonely, Alan seems to be seeking now to make Lauren Walls as lonely as he's always felt.
You guys had been keeping Lauren, at least for a little while, at Herbert Darkblade 69 Kmoch's place. Is that continuing to go on? Is that the game plan, at least for now, to continue to have her and possibly Cody and maybe even George Conti, the doctor boyfriend, all stay at Herbert's mom's place?
Yeah, I mean, she's got a spare ever since Dad left. She's got plenty of room. I mean, we got the guest room, and she still has a queen bed, that she and Dad would share, and somebody maybe could share that with her.
Okay. So here's the other big thing. I know it was starting to get dark when you guys had left the Magnolia Place mansion and gone back to the hospital. Are you gonna try to continue investigating through the night, or are we gonna kind of like take a break and everybody go home and then we'll start fresh in the morning?
I feel like starting fresh. There's no reason not. Well, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think there's more to find here?
I think we looked at all the major locations there, right?
I think so too. Yeah, let's start fresh in the morning. We can all eat a good homemade meal with our families, our loved ones, to remind ourselves that this too shall pass.
All right. So, Herbert Darkblade 69, Kmoch. You're inviting Lauren and Cody to go back to Herbert and his mom's place. That's the game plan?
Yeah, that sounds
okay. I think George Conti, the doctor / boyfriend, is he basically says, like, I can stay at the hospital. I need to keep working on this stuff and this paperwork, and I'm going to see if I can find anything else out. So I think he's not as into the idea of, like, all right, go to Darkblade's place. Are you guys cool with him just staying at the hospital, or are you going to be like, no, you get in this car, motherfucker?
I mean, he's not technically a part of the ring of, like, did Alan even know him? Or
one of you guys made the realization that if the goal is to make Lauren be alone, anyone who is considered a friend of hers would be a target, and that he would definitely be considered a target.
We got to get him over to my mom's house.
Oh, we should frame it to him as, like, they'd be safer with you around.
Okay. I think that's a charm roll for somebody to make on the charming Dr. George Conti.
Okay, cool. And this is her boyfriend, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll roll it.
And I think the way you put that definitely works with, like, the kind of the rules of this game, or the setups of that rule.
I got a 7.
Got a 7.
Hold on. I got a 6.
Got a 6. Okay. Would Ashton or Darkblade want to help Mr. Welker out to try to push that to a 7?
So I'm going to be starting this conversation as, like, what's this first name again?
George.
George, listen. Now, like, trying to take him aside, like a fatherly aside from the group. Be like, now, I see that you seem like a good guy, all right? And that's good. Women want a good guy. And, one day when you're ready to propose to Lauren, You know, she's gonna want to know that you're a guy who's reliable and can be around, and you're gonna be a good father to you guys as kids. And this
I
is
think
your chance to really prove that, son.
And I think that's the initial thing that's like causing some consternation, where it's just Mr. Welker pushing way too hard on the like, well, obviously you're going to want to make sure to be a good husband and that kind of thing. And this guy's like thinking back of like how long he's been dating this girl and going, wait a
when
minute,
you're telling
buddy.
your grandkids the story about the time you were there for your mom, oh boy, it's going to be a treat.
Would either Ashton or Darkblade want to try to kick that up to a 7 to get that to be a success?
Yeah.
Okay, then go for it, Darkblade.
Right, Darkblade rolls 7.
7. All right, so it does go up. So it becomes a 7 now. Okay. What does Darkblade do to kind of come in and make this situation a little bit better?
You should describe the conditions of your house.
Yeah, my house, it was deloused recently. There's absolutely no pests allowed in my house. We don't allow pests, and we don't eat in bed anymore. So it's you'll have fresh linens, and it is a really safe house. We have a Brink security system, so we really aren't slouching here when it comes to security. And it's actually, it's like an unlocked Brink system. It's not really, it's got my own touches on it.
Yeah, it's an overclocked Brink security system.
Yeah, I overclocked the CPU and the thermostat as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that he's still kind of like, these guys are weirdos. And I think the way that works is on a 7 to 9, I have to tell you what would work out. And I think if the
I think the idea should be like his house is so potentially unsafe that he would need to be there to keep them safe.
Okay, I like that actually.
Like it'd be like, oh, the last time we had an electrical fire, we only lost one pet. Like it was a record.
Okay. Yeah, so then I think we'll do it like that, where you kind of bring up all this stuff, and maybe Darkblade comes up, and Darkblade's just so weird that maybe Dr. Conti is like, yeah, I better go with them because this guy's a strange character, and I don't know if I want Lauren alone with these weirdos.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
So then in that case, night falls on Palmetto City. The humid evening of this, I think we said it was April or May night. It's cool but humid. And we see kind of Mr. Welker's van drop off Darkblade. And it's a van, so I assume it can hold all these people. Or actually, maybe George will drive. Would you let like George and Lauren drive separately to go to Darkblade's place, or would you be like, no, everyone's staying together?
Everybody's got to stay together.
Oh yeah, and the van is also uncomfortable as a tag, so this will not be a good trip.
Yeah, I think when you get in, I think Cody is like, you said you had a van.
Yes, sir.
I thought you meant like a minivan. This is not what I thought.
Oh, come on. I'm not one of those dads. This is a sophisticated van full of really awesome equipment.
Yeah, so you guys are crammed in this van with these, there's 6 of you in there. And you get to Darkblade's house, and I think we see a shot of Herbert, Darkblade 69, Kmoch, Lauren, George, Cody getting out of the vehicle. And then Mr. Welker, like you guys kind of parting ways. And Mr. Welker maybe bringing Ashton home. And then heading home himself. Does that sound accurate?
Mr. Welker doesn't have any other plans.
Okay. And Ashton, that sounds pretty good. All right. He's nodding. All right. So.
Yes.
There we go. So, all right. Yeah. So you guys have all arrived at home. we see some shots of Darkblade's mom being like, oh, we have more guests tonight. I guess we'll have to, Herbert dear, here, why don't I bring a cot in here and into my room, and us girls can have our, or maybe she brings like has one person sleep on the couch. Oh, you said you have a spare room. So yeah, maybe she stuffs George and Cody in the spare room, or one of them sleeps on the couch, one of them sleeps in the spare room.
Yeah,
and,
it's actually my dickhead brother Brian's room, and he lives with his wife and kids now because he's too good for us, and but we'd be honored if you were here. Because you're not a traitor like Brian is. I mean, some people think Brian's really successful. I guess if you're going to measure success by financial ability
and only
the cars he drives
that support your narrative.
Yeah. Then I guess Brian's a great guy. But if you're going to talk about loyalty and family and leaving your family behind, then probably Brian's not who you want to be.
And I like
his room, and we'll call it what's his name again? What's your name, sir? What was your name again?
Okay.
The two guys that are there with you are Cody and George.
We'll call it Cody's room now. It'll be Cody's room.
And Cody's like, cool. And I think George looks over at the at like a shelf, and he sees you're like, oh, my dickhead Brian who left and abandoned the family. And there's also a thing that
what we call him.
Yeah, there's also a thing that has like your dad's name, and your dad was also Brian. And so there's like some like animosity that you're throwing at this brother character that's like also like dad.
Why was he named after you?
Yeah, he was younger.
Yeah.
What was he saving it for him?
Yeah. He felt they originally named you Brian, but they changed your name when you got older and into elementary school.
Right
they
when he started getting heavy into computers and failed football tryouts. Stopped being called Brian.
Yeah, they saw how you did on the punt, pass, and kick thing, and they said, this isn't Brian material. Anyway, all right, but so we see your mom kind of like making stuff up. So essentially, everybody's got their own space. I guess either Cody or George is going to stay in the guest room. One of them is going to stay on the couch, and then you're going to stay in your room, and your mom and Lauren are going to stay in the master bedroom. And I think George is kind of, you can very easily see George is fairly annoyed at that premise, where it was like, oh, great, I'm brought here to keep my girlfriend safe from these weirdos, and now I don't even get to sleep with her. Wonderful. All right, so we see that as everybody's kind of getting tucked in. When Mr. Welker comes home, when Chase Welker gets home, or no, he drops Ashton off first, right? Yeah, we said yes.
Unless he wants to sleep over.
Ooh. Ashton has his place at his studio apartment, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Since you got this job that has had a pay increase, what do we see has changed about Ashton's apartment? It can be something fairly small, but it should be something that, like, when we come in on this new arc of the show, we see this is happening, or we see that this is present in the studio.
Oh, maybe he has like a big like king size brand new bed, but it's because it's a studio apartment that's basically half the floor space.
Okay, yeah. So we had seen the place before, and you had maybe like a futon.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And now instead you have this big bed, but there's not enough space for it. So it's kind of like a small, on one side of the room, there's a small desk. On the other side of the room, there's a small table. And there's this bed that's taking up this massive quantity of space where you can't really have anything. The other option I would say is if you have maybe one of those like counters where a person can like eat at the counter, like sitting on stools. Maybe the bed is so big it's partially under that counter.
Mm-hmm.
But Okay, so we see this big, kind of expensive bed. And maybe even to kind of like further drive home that this is new in case an audience member missed it. There's like the box that
I was
the
gonna say
thing
that too.
came in.
Yeah.
Sitting
Just like
there.
against the wall.
Yeah, or when Mr. Welker drops you off, that's like outside and at the curb. I don't know, you're in an apartment. Either way. But yeah. So you come home, we see that this is going on. Your phone buzzes and you are able to look down, and I think via like a text conversation with Regan, she basically says like, excuse me. Oh, she says like, oh, I heard that a girl at the hospital died. Was it Bella White?
Was that who it was? Yeah.
Yes. Boop, and that's the noise of the message going through. So you say, yeah.
He'll say, unfortunately.
Boop.
Dot.
Yeah. And I think she'll ask like she'll say, pretty suspicious. Any answers or clues? Bloop.
And I love role playing this text thing. This is good. I think he's like a little too suspicious. ... We're looking into it, and send that.
Okay.
Maybe he'll say like I'm looking into it instead, because I remember the company specifically said, hey, stop bringing us up.
Okay. Oh yeah, and so I think she'll just kind of say like, she'll just ask anything specific. Bloop.
Well, we have some leads, but it seems like I don't know, jilted lover or something.
Okay.
Or like, I guess we don't know if they were lovers or not. So like, just jilted friend or something, jealous friend. Yeah, I think he's basically trying to give her the basics without any of the specifics.
And so I think she'll ask like, is it connected to the kid that killed himself? Bloop.
Oh, and maybe partially trying to change the subject, but possibly also maybe to get her to look into this, to say, oh, well, now the police are saying they aren't even sure of that he killed himself.
Yeah, she'll say like, do they think it was faked? Question mark. Bloop.
And I don't think they told me if they think it was fake, right? Just that, oh, someone has to be doing this still, and someone's on his social media, right?
Well,
is what they told me.
Detective Winters basically put it as, we can't completely look at this as we're looking at this more as a missing person than as basically that their case with that kid. Because if it was a suicide, they wouldn't have a case really anymore, theoretically. But since they can't find the body, they're looking at it as a missing person. And since there's continued activity revolving around his account or connected to stuff, they're wondering if he is still alive.
Right. So, yeah, I think he's going to say, her question was specifically, if they think it was faked. So I think he's going to say, it could be someone's responsible for this. I guess is how he'll put that.
Okay, and she'll say, but you think the suicide's definitely connected with what's happened to those, with the three others who've died. Bloop.
Yeah, I think he'll say, we definitely think he's responsible, but we're trying to figure out how.
And I think she'll like post like a scratching head emoji.
And I'll post a little magnifying glass emoji.
Nice.
Classy.
Yeah, and I think she'll say like keep me up to date on what to keep. Yeah, just keep me up to date, and she'll send that as one message, and then the next one will say like there's too many weird things happening. There's too many weird things that have been happening lately, and this seems like it's one of them. We see Mr. Welker finally arrive home at his home, his palace, his castle.
Of course.
It's later, but it's not super late. So I think kind of a scene somewhat similar to what we had seen before is going on. I think on these nights that you've been kind of out later, which have been more recent in since you guys have moved down to Palmetto City. I think that your wife is Julia or Julie? Julia. So Julia has taken to, after a while, started to like watch TV in bed. Either on like a tablet or maybe you guys had she got a second TV. And so she'll watch movies in bed. So like husband. Yeah. And so kind of when you come home, early on, when you had done some late nights, she would be like on the couch, sometimes asleep. I think increasingly now she's like, okay, I know he's going to be later, so I'll just go to bed. And if he comes home, awesome. And, but yeah, so she's watching TV and, I think that she's watching like the news. And the news has a story, of course, because this is a TV show, helping us to recap what just happened. A young patient died in the result of an altercation with a guard. We believe that the young woman, Bella White, and there's like a picture of her, and you've only seen Bella White all like smashed up and bruised. And somebody put Bella White in our Google Doc thing as what's her name from Beauty and the Beast, the new Beauty and the Beast, I think.
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson, yeah. So, and so I'll just go with that. I think she like is like a very pretty young lady, and I think that this is like an image of her at like some like nice party or like some fancy thing. So she like looks really good in this thing, and you're just flashing back to the image of her that you saw where she's like all like bruised and beaten up, and like George Conti listing off all these things of like multiple fractures, lacerations across the face, arms, chests, a deep like blood loss from a cut, like him just like listing off all this stuff, and you're just looking at this girl. And I think Julia kind of wakes up and is like, oh, hey, you're home. I thought when you didn't come back by blah, 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 I thought you'd be later. So I just went to bed.
Oh, like distractedly. It's like, no, that makes sense. You should. Don't wait up for me. You know, duty calls.
She fumbles around for the remote and hits mute. So that way it's still on in the background, but so it's this girl's haunting image like behind you, that they keep coming back to, like shot of the hospital, this girl's picture, shot of the hospital, this girl's picture. Cause it's a TV show and they're watching the news, and that's how it works. But yeah, she's like, oh, she brings up some small stuff like, oh, this weekend, what is an interest that your older daughter has?
Boys. No. She what do the kids do these days?
Well, she could do a thing that's not that crazy. She could be like on a sports team.
Let's go with that. She plays soccer.
Okay, so she plays soccer. So I think Julia will tell you like, I don't know soccer, when soccer season would be, but she'll tell you like, oh, Julia is her name. Julia will tell you that your daughter Tara has a soccer game this weekend, and to make sure that like we're gonna have to it's essentially like the next county over. So be sure that this weekend you're all set to go. And if you can't make it, I understand, but if you could at least give her like a heads up in advance, that would be good. Who am I kidding? She'll say like, if you can give me a heads up, I don't think it'll.
Right, of course. He'll say, oh, well, look, of course, I would love to go, obviously. But, I can't make those kinds of commitments. You know how work's been. And obviously, if I can go, I would. But I don't really have control over these things. You understand that?
Sure. She'll say, she kind of nods, and I think we kind of get into like a real domestic discussion that the two of you have, where she's like, it's just a soccer game. If you can't make it to this soccer game, you'll make it to something else. But when there are some of the big things, you're going to have to know that as important as your job is, you're going to need to be there.
And he'll reply like, have I not been there in the past? Like, do you think I don't know that?
No, you have been there. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Then it sounds like we agree, so I'm not sure what the problem is.
If you can let me know that you can't make it, let me know. We can go there ourselves. It won't be a big deal.
And it's be like, yes, of course. That's what I'd planned. That makes sense. I'll be sure to let you know.
Good. Yeah, and I think
that's be like looking like over her shoulder at like the image on the TV, like trading his attention.
Yeah, and so I think that kind of conversation kind of ends, and then when they move on to another news story, maybe Chase Welker just goes in the bathroom to like kind of get ready for bed, or maybe he goes into the kitchen to like eat something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so he like kind of like changes. We see him just in like just a shirt or just an undershirt or something like that, and he's like sitting kind of alone eating.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, so now could everybody make a weird roll for me?
Oh, this is why I stopped using dice.
Got a 7 again.
So Darkblade got a 7.
I got an 8.
Got an 8 for.
I got a 3.
Ooh, and a 3. Okay, so all right, I'm going to stop with Ashton because his will be the most dramatic. Okay, Darkblade, you discover yourself, or no, we'll stick with Mr. Welker, actually. And so Mr. Welker's sitting kind of is he sitting at the kitchen table, or is he like sitting on the couch?
No, he's a proper guy sitting at the table.
Okay, so he's sitting at the table. He doesn't have his jacket on, but he probably still has his shirt on. Maybe not shirtless, but like still has his like dress shirt on. Maybe his tie is off, something like that. And he's eating. And what's kind of a sad, I'm eating this by myself food?
Oh, peanut butter jelly sandwich, obviously.
That's super sad.
Yeah, so he just goes into the kitchen and makes himself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh, maybe even to emphasize the argument he just had with his wife, he opens the fridge and there's something that's clearly leftovers, and he looks at it and he tosses it back into the fridge and just makes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and kind of sits there and eats it by himself. And as you're sitting there, you're kind of like, you've been kind of working long days. This stuff's been stressful for sure, and you're kind of getting tired. And as you get tired, you kind of nod off for a second. And when you come to the lights are off. You hear kind of a noise in the hallway that maybe Julia is getting up in the hallway back towards the bedroom. And I think you go to kind of like, when you kind of look over in that direction, you see like a glint of movement in kind of a weird way, and you notice that there's something that wasn't there before.
Okay. Like in the hall?
Yes. And I will tell you, it's certainly not Julia. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, well, if I feel threatened by it, then I feel like it would make sense for him to have some on-hand, like, home defense solutions around, given his new line of work. So, like, I'd grab... Screw it. Let's just go with the shotgun. Let's go big.
Okay.
Because he's got witchcraft on the mind.
Yeah, so you... Maybe... Mr. Welker carries, like, a sidearm with him, doesn't he?
I don't see why he wouldn't. Sure. Oh,
Okay.
Technically, his armament is a shotgun and a grenade launcher.
Okay.
But I do think it's reasonable that if you have access to those two things, it probably wouldn't be very hard to have a pistol in your home.
You're right. I'm just thinking what's, like, right with you at the second.
Let's go with, like, a home defense pistol, like he hides, like, under one of the cushions of the couch where the kids can't get it or something.
So, I was thinking just he's like near enough to the kitchen where he just grabs a knife.
Or that, classic home defense.
Okay, so you kind of grab this as you're staring at this thing, that there's something that moved, or there was movement, and it's something that hadn't been there before. And do you approach this something?
It's in the house with my family, Austin.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
Okay, you're right. Dumb question. All right, so as you approach it, you kind of get closer and closer, and you notice there is a mirror on your wall that absolutely was not there before. So unless your wife was like, I put up a mirror, this is new.
Like his first thought, oh, maybe I haven't been around home that much. Like she's like added something.
Ooh, that's perfect, because then you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, you're kind of like, I haven't been like my home is changing around me and I haven't even noticed it. And you're kind of staring at this thing, and you notice like the frame around the mirror is particularly weird. First off, the mirror is pretty big. It's not full body, but it gets the whole of your, from head to like waist in this mirror. And the frame around it is particularly strange. And one of the things that you notice is that like along the sides of it are these little markings that almost look like the feet of crows, like the talons of crows, like etched into this wood. And then at the corner of each thing is that death's head that you saw on the wasp. And then you see something move again, and you look up into the mirror, and instead of your own image, of course, you see the image that you saw in that internet video of the kid of Alan Graves, who hanged and burned himself. Yep. And so you see that, and and as soon as you like make eye contact with this ashen, very like deep eye sockets, he's got like this hoodie on, but under it no hair, and you can even see at the base of his neck these kind of boils. Like once you see this and you look in his eyes and the two of you make eye contact, you kind of wake up at the kitchen table. Darkblade 69, Herbert Kmoch.
Yes.
That was a little too close to the microphone. It just sounded like
too close.
Sounded like just spit on me. All right, so Herbert normally stays in the basement at the house, right?
My bedroom, yeah.
Yeah. So we've established that there can be basements in this area. Maybe it's like a converted garage, and the house is kind of like a split level house, if you know what I'm talking about, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So so it's so you're in there, and Darkblade is, of course, he's on the computer, and you've been looking up this information. I think maybe you looked up some more information about this place, the Thaddeus Camacho group home. And one of the things that you find is like an old newspaper report that talks about how actually this group home is a weird institution where it's run by the state, but for orphans who didn't have any kind of next akin. So the state essentially takes over their estate their inheritance to raise them as part of this group home, and like there's a chunk of this money, so that this group home isn't even normally like a normal orphanage. It's kind of strange. It's like smaller. There's not as many kids. It services a different kind of clientele, because basically, like, oh, if you're an orphan and your family didn't have any money, you don't stay here. You only stay here if you're a wealthy orphan. Or like, yeah, like, so you're like kind of looking all this stuff up, and
So it's an orphanage for child actors.
yeah, exactly. I'm a professional child. Yes. But yeah, you are looking this stuff up, and one of the things that you see is you kind of like hop back onto social media, and you're looking at some of this stuff, and you go to look into Alan Graves' account, and you can kind of pull this up, and you can see a lot of this artwork, and we kind of reaffirm that we saw, you know, that image of like the nipple, the wasp, the pyre, the death's head in a lot of Alan's artwork. And one of the other things that you see is a like just like it's like an animated, like a very detailed animated thing of a like a crow's foot dangling from a string that's been like tacked to a wall. It's kind of slowly dangling there, and you kind of see that. And one of the big deals is I assume Darkblade has a pretty sweet setup in his home base.
Yeah.
You were so like, oh, of course he does, that you were speechless there for a moment.
Ever since he got this job, he's been able to afford a full workstation with clamps and magnifying glasses, every color of metallic paint, and a miniature collection that is just expansive. He has a like, some guys like railroads, and they set up these huge railroads that trains that go through their houses. Well, this is like a life-sized, well, not life-sized, but it's a enormous feature of the basement is just a battlefield of Warhammer 40K figurines fighting each other.
Cool. So when Darkblade's kind of...
He's rich in life. That's what
nice.
I'm saying. So
when Darkblade is kind of done with this and he's ready to take a break, he goes to look over at his figurines and see this stuff and admire his handiwork. Maybe knock out... finish up kind of some really sweet articulated stuff that he's got going on. Say again?
Yeah, maybe a gene stealer. He's just going to knock one of those out.
Absolutely. Fast. Yeah. So he kind of sits down, and as he's working, one of the things he notices is the light is changing in the room. Mm-hmm. Like, you have your own light, but there's something else that, like, as you're looking at the magnifying glass using one of those tiny camel hair brushes that has really, really few bristles, you're like, oh, my light keeps changing. And when you turn around, the social media page of Alan Graves that you left up doesn't look like the page at all. It looks like you're looking at the code behind the page. If that makes sense. Yeah. And as you go back up there to either like turn the screen off or go to another thing so you have more light that's kind of consistent, you see that what would normally be all of this computer code essentially outlining what you're supposed to see. Instead, amid that code, you see all these weird symbols, including some of the symbols that you had seen at the Magnolia Place mansion and that your colleagues had described to you. And you see some of these symbols kind of popping up. And one of them that you see is looks like a hand over an eye. And so you see these symbols kind of coming up, and like it's a language that doesn't make any sense to you, and you just hear like alone, 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 and that sound is coming from behind you, right back where you were sitting.
It's a little spooky.
So you turn around, there's nobody there, and when you turn back around, the image of Alan's artwork is there, and you see someone just walking. You see like almost a point of view shot of walking through a corridor towards this mirror, and it's coming closer, and this is all black and white line drawings, like with a pen, and it's going closer and closer and closer, and when you get to the front of it, your screen clicks off, and you're just looking at your own reflection in the computer monitor. And then all of a sudden it snaps from your reflection to Alan Graves' reflection, the image, at least his reflection, Alan Graves' image that you had seen in that video, the kind of sallow, like sunken face with the hoodie on it, all dark, like around him, just like it is in your place right now. And you kind of come to at the computer. And whatever you had previously been looking up is...
Yeah. Wow. Mom always said not to have do code red this late at night, but that was a little more than a noggin rush, I think. I'm gonna send out a message to the team.
Gotcha. So you start typing up a message. So Ashton, you're at home. You're kind of on your own. And you're kind of exchanging these text messages with Regan, and
I think if the like it's a little ways past that, I think maybe he still like has the text message thing up to her, and he's like, oh, I mean, what are you wearing today? And he's like, no, and just deletes it all, and he's like, I got a really big bed, and he's like, no, he's like, okay, just gets rid of it.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I like that a lot. Just typing different things. He takes a picture of the bed. He doesn't do that. He like looks online to show a picture from like the website that he bought it on. He's like, no. Maybe he goes to take a picture of the box, and he's like trying to figure some stuff out. And he's just eventually.
Yeah, he keeps trying to take like a selfie of himself, and then he like looks, and he's like, no. And then he unbuttons one of his buttons. He's like, no, double button them all up. Like, no, I don't know.
See, as you're doing this, when you decide to give up on this, when you're like, fuck it, you put your phone down, maybe you're changing or something like that. So you said you had been wearing a suit, that suit that you got at Men's Warehouse with Mr. Welker. And I think as you're kind of maybe taking the jacket off, maybe you're taking the kind of the shirt off, you start to hear a buzzing noise. And at first, it picks up like an electronic buzzing noise, like the TV's on in the other room, that kind of thing.
He gets real excited and runs over to his phone. Oh no!
Oh yeah, so yeah, you run, and it's in a studio apartment, so it's not like you're going very far. You're just going from maybe one part of the room to the other, and you have to kind of like scoot around one of the chairs that's now in the way of where you were before.
Yeah, she's probably already asleep. That's probably what happened.
Yeah. And that buzzing is not an electronic buzzing noise. It's instead something that starts to get much, much louder. And could you go ahead and make for me a cool roll?
I did get a 6.
All right. Cool. That's great, actually. So here's how this goes. And then I'm going to tell you a way that you can avert this. So... Ashton hears this buzzing, and he feels something like fly by one of his ears, and when he kind of like goes to be like, oh man, like a huge bug or a bee or something like that, and then he feels something else like sting him on the shoulder, and he kind of whips around, and I think again he's not as familiar with the new layout of his apartment as he had been, and I think he trips over one of the stools that is kind of set up, and he goes to grab to like as he's falling down, he goes to grab for something, and the thing that he goes to pull for is something that would be like on a kitchen counter, but would be extremely either heavy or dangerous if it fell on you.
Maybe like a toaster oven or something like that. Is that what you're thinking?
Sure. I'm thinking like even more dangerous. And it could be something like maybe even like part of the cabinet falls down or something like that. You kind of like are falling down and you reach up to grab for something, and maybe your mom, when you moved into your own studio apartment, she gave you like a knife block. You know what I'm talking about? One of those things that holds a bunch of different knives in it.
Yeah.
And so when you reach up, you grabbed onto like a tower, you grabbed onto something else, and it slips. And as you fall down, the knife block and this toaster oven fall right towards you. And the vision that we see, if this was a PG-13 rated movie, and this actually has had some pretty graphic scenes in it. The scene that we see for just a second is this knife block falling and some of these knives falling out, and this toaster oven and a bunch of other shit from your countertop falling on top of you, where Ashton is impaled with these knives and killed.
Additional voices for this episode included Steve Arthur as Shane Meridew. Please make sure to like, subscribe, rate, and review. Tell a friend about This American Dice and Monster of the Week.
You learned about my brother. And,
That's true. We did learn about Brian, that real dickhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, another time I'll tell you guys about Aliens. It's pretty cool. It's kind of a body horror film. Or
My body's a constant horror.
Yeah. That describes me after eating dairy. I'm getting old.
Yeah. Just
Unless
impaled with the knives, and then the toaster oven comes and electrocutes the knives.
Yeah. What I was thinking was that the toaster oven and the other stuff on the counter is what pushes, like, gives the knives enough weight to actually kill a person. But yeah, instead, it's the Hot Pocket that comes out, and the Hot Pocket has so much sodium that it falls into Ashton's mouth, and it kicks his blood pressure up to a point where he has a heart attack.
Some real Beauty and the Beast shit.
Yeah, exactly. Some real beauty in Cogsworth, the Toasty the toaster oven is like, I've got you again.